Scotswoman to appeal dropping of death sentence on brother-in-law and two hired hitmen by court. A Thai Scotswoman in Glasgow is in contact with her lawyers in Thailand after the appeals court set aside the death sentence handed down for the premeditated murder of her 64-year-old father and his devoted Thai wife, her mother, in an appalling and callous double murder in Phrae province on Tuesday the 18th of September 2018. The 33-year-old daughter of 64-year-old Alan Hogg and his 61-year-old wife Not, who were both brutally murdered in September 2018 by Mr. Hogg's brother-in-law and two hired hitmen, is to appeal a decision this week which saw the death sentence on the three men, imposed in May last year, lifted. 33-year-old Robin Hogg said she will appeal the latest court decision to set aside the death sentence on her parents' murderers imposed by Phrae Provincial Court in 2019. This includes her father's brother-in-law and two hired hitmen. A 33-year-old Scottish woman has vowed to appeal against a decision that emerged this week by a Thai Court of Appeal to set aside the death sentence in respect of the murder of her wealthy 64-year-old father Alan Hogg and his faithful 61-year-old Thai wife Not Hogg in September 2018. In May last year, a Thai provincial court in Phrae province, northern Thailand, sentenced the three men to death for the murder of the loving pair who were married in Edinburgh in 1986 and who had lived happily in Thailand since the late 90s and on a full-time basis since 2014. Wealthy petrochemical engineer developed a luxurious mansion and extended property in Phrae. Mr. Hogg had built an elaborate and well-appointed mansion in the province including a swimming pool. The pair were known to be well off. Mr. Hogg had worked offshore in the construction industry. He was a petrochemical engineer. He also owned a laundry business in Scotland. Brother-in-law masterminded the murders. One of the three men condemned for his death was his brother-in-law, 64-year-old Werrett Sachokit, who masterminded the murder of the pair. It is understood that Mr. Werrett had grown an intense hatred for his Scottish brother-in-law who regularly upbraided him for borrowing money from his sister. Mr. Werrett lived in a wooden shack on the domain of his in-laws. This hatred grew out of control after 2014 when Mr. Hogg retired to Thailand with his wife to live full-time in the kingdom. Trigger for the rage and murder was when the killer's sister told him that he must leave. It was reported that investigating police discovered that the trigger that drove Mr. Werrett over the edge was the insistence, in late 2018, by his younger sister that he begin to move out of the estate altogether where he had worked for the couple for 20 years. Read the full story of the atrocious murder of a loving Scots-Thai couple here. Mr. Werrett went to a friend, a man named Mr. Soma at Pamoon, and confided in him his murderous plan. Mr. Soma refused point-blank to have anything to do with the murder when he heard that the Thai man planned to have his sister killed. Introduced to two unscrupulous hitmen, he did, unfortunately, recommend Mr. Werrett to two hitmen who were less scrupulous. 25-year-old Kittipong Kamwan and 64-year-old Phea Kamse were paid 50,000 baht by Mr. Werrett. They expeditiously and brutally carried out the double murder. Mr. Hogg was shot dead within the grounds of his home while his wife was hit over the head with a car wrench. Not was bludgeoned to death, according to police, by her own brother as she suffered his pent-up rage in a garage within the home after her husband had been already gunned down. The couple were buried together with their bodies disposed of in a 6-foot hole near the property's duck pond. The hit squad used a digger to bury the pair and cover them over. This all happened in the space of a few hours on the 18th of September 2018, a Tuesday. Police quickly solved the crime. Police were alerted to the crime after the couple failed to turn up at a meeting in Chiang Mai with close friends. They quickly discovered the disappearance of Mr. Hogg's new Ford pickup sold off by Mr. Werrett for 420,000 baht in cash. A police search team with sniffer dogs soon unearthed this foulest of crimes. Death sentence handed down in May last year. The crime was solved quite quickly. In May last year, the brother-in-law and his two hired hitmen received the death sentence while Mr. Werrett's friend Mr. Soma was sentenced to 25 years in prison for assisting the plot. Thai Scotswoman determined to appeal the latest judgment and see the death sentence reimposed late this week. The murdered pair's Thai Scots daughter, Robin, was determined to see the death sentence reimposed. She told the popular Scottish Daily Record newspaper that she was still trying to clarify the decision of the Thai appeals court but that she had been assured by her lawyers in at home that she can appeal the decision to the Supreme Court which will have the ultimate say in the matter at that point, at least in law. Robin, a businesswoman like her father, now lives in Glasgow. We're not happy about it. The death sentences were retracted, We only found out about it last week, she revealed. I'm speaking to my lawyer to get a better picture of what's happening. I'm told we have time to appeal. Ms. Hogg expressed her displeasure with the outcome but was not giving up her fight to attain justice for her father and mother. It's difficult. We're not happy about it. We are getting mixed messages from the Thai courts. We don't know if it's one sentence or all the sentences.